Okay, I'm streaming it instead of recording it because, you know, I'm too fucking lazy to upload a recording or whatever. And also the new drive that I'm on, the space is kind of well, there's not loads of space on it. I don't know how big it is, but it's. Let's have a look. Properties. So it's about 500 gig-ish, whatever. So I moved over to Linux. I mean, at some point I'm going to repurpose my old 2 TB drive. Anyway, the purpose of this video. By the way, there's going to be no webcam, and it's going to be more of an audio experience. So even though it's a video, it's more of a me just talking. Also, it's not poker, so I don't know why. I'm pretty lazy. So let's change that. Title. I don't know what I should call it. How about just thoughts for now? That'll do. Aggregate. I'll forget it. I can't be asked to change anything else. So yeah, this is just going to be my thoughts of software primarily, but I'll go into some other stuff as well. So there's no like script or anything, and this is just me just sort of unloading thoughts, I guess. Now the reason for me making a video is because well, I've no one really else to whinge about stuff to, I guess. So I'm just doing it in a video, I guess. Maybe I'll look back in future and go, wow, that was pretty ridiculous to, you know. But yeah, for this starter portion, I'm going to talk about software, and the problem is I'm interested in making software, but in any time I have to deal with it, yeah, which is every single day because I work in IT, and then my hobby is doing stuff on computers. I spend the vast majority of my time is on a computer. By choice, you know. I think I enjoy working with computers for the most part, or at least I did. But over time, it's getting worse. And the reason I find this baffling, yeah, really baffling, is because, like, to be fair, this should be the same for the most part of society, but it isn't. But you'd expect that as a society, as we progress, yeah, and we're building on other people's work and stuff, you know, standing on the shoulders of giants, sort of thing, that things would progressively get better. At the very worst, stay the same. And by the way, when I say at the very worst, I don't mean staying the same is necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, very much applies. If you take it, you know, for your favourite games, for example, if you look at, you know, Counter-Strike, for example, CS:GO, yeah, it works, yeah. It may be simple. They may not add, you know, new weapons every 5 minutes or whatever, but the core game works brilliantly. So what they do is they introduce stuff that doesn't mess with that core game. Yeah. Some people would call it laziness. I call it, you know, they found what works and they understand the nature of the thing, and they leave it. Yeah, because it's a competitive game. Other companies that make competitive games, like I don't know, Supercell, don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they break it beyond repair. Now, those are individual decisions, but I'm talking about like issues with software. Now, sometimes you have software bugs, and they make sense of how they've come about. Okay. By the way, when I say they make sense, I mean that I can understand how they've come about. I can, um, you know, I can go, oh well, that's just an oversight here or whatever, and you just go, well, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's hard to make completely concrete, solid software that's 100% reliable. It's especially for, you know, individual stuff that's made by like an individual. If it's not like made by a company, the problem arises when bugs or like certain feature decisions are so badly implemented or so badly thought out that it's catastrophic. And what I mean, I'm going to go through just a few. So recently, I tried to install Proxmox on my server, right? Which is just, if you don't know what Proxmox is, it's just for like virtualization stuff. So akin to sort of like VMware or Hyper-V. It's a thing you can use for for managing virtual machines. And I was going to switch to that. I currently use um, Windows Server, and then I just use Hyper-V within that. But there's a bit of an overhead with it, and I'm trying to move away from Windows for two reasons. Both my job is more Linux based and things like that, but also just personal preference. Microsoft, for the most part, just ruin their piece of software. Yeah, Windows has become worse. Yeah, I mean Windows 10 wasn't too bad, but Windows 11 is disastrous in many ways. It's not just the UI, it's not just the privacy stuff. There's actual things in it that are more broken. Yeah, and that's the problem. Like that's even more the problem. Even if you disregard like all the collection stuff, it's functionally a disaster to use. It really is. Like, but they forced it down everybody's throat. And unfortunately, I'm forced to deal with it because it's like the standard. I can't wait till it's not the standard and there's something that's better. You know. Anyway. I mean, there's several. Getting an operating system right is difficult. Don't get me wrong. The reason this example comes about isn't because they've got a particular feature wrong. There's bugs in Windows 10, Windows 7. I loved Windows 7, and not just nostalgia. Like I really liked how it worked. It just worked well. But there was bugs in that too. It is what it is. No, that's not what I'm getting at. It's the fact that, for example, Windows 7 and Windows 10 and stuff. I'm glossing over Windows 8. We'll forget that exists. Windows 7 and Windows 10 exist, yeah, in a working normal state, and they turn around and they release Windows 11 and tout it as an upgrade when it's indeed a downgrade because it's more resource hungry, it's buggier, it's harder to use, it's more restrictive. In every aspect, it is worse. Okay, some people may disagree with that. People may say, "Oh, it's more secure," or whatever, which it may well be, right? But if that slight boost in security makes every single aspect of it worse, then to me, I'm sorry, it's not worth it, in my opinion. I could rant about Windows all day, but I mean Linux isn't immune either. Now, I did make a big mistake, so I installed Kubuntu. By the way, Kubuntu is really good. That's not the mistake. The mistake is I installed 24.10 instead of 24.04, the LTS. I should have gone with the LTS. I didn't, and I've paid the price because now this version of Kubuntu that I'm on is absolutely riddled with bugs. Sometimes it will just crash for seemingly no reason. Like I won't be doing anything strenuous. Like I could be doing a YouTube video like right now, or I could literally just be writing something in a console window and it'll just crash. It's really bizarre. Now, to be fair, it hasn't happened overly often. I'd say it happens maybe once a month, but it's still a problem. Especially because of the external drive that I have, which I've got my VS projects on. Here, whatever. This is this gets all like corrupted or whatever, and then I've got to go and remount it and mess about and stuff. It's very annoying. It's just whatever. It doesn't matter. So what was I going to say now? Yeah, but Kubuntu's got its weird issues. Like the main one for me right now is the keyboard. It will not retain the UK keyboard. It just won't. Sometimes it'll revert back whilst I'm using it. If it reboots, it definitely changes back. It changes back to US. When I installed it, I specified UK keyboard. And in the settings, you can change it, and I've removed the US keyboard entirely and put UK the UK one and remove the US one, but it will just come back. And it keeps coming back, and it's a big problem because I use like, the pound symbol and the @ symbol and stuff, and it all switches around. It's fucking annoying. It's really, really, really annoying. That's a really, really big annoyance, that one. But there's just no fix for it. Now, to be fair, the fix is to save all my settings, whatever, reinstall the Kubuntu, but use 24 or 4 LTS, and it's probably not going to be a problem on there. But still, it's annoying. Now, to be fair, they're very open and they're honest, and they go, "Oh well, you've picked the wrong one there, Bucko," or whatever, which is absolutely true. So that one doesn't really count, and I'm not going to complain about that, like for a long time, whatever. It's still worth pointing out, but it's not a big deal. The big deals come out when, there's loads of other. I don't even know where to begin, because it's almost like every 5 minutes where something bizarre happens. I should have done. I should have, every time something happens, I should have just like made a little something or other, and then just like stitch them all together, because I can't remember any now. I mean, there's the Logitech one. I did a video on that already about the Logitech piece of software. They brought a piece of software out, which was supposedly an update, and it basically every single feature, and by every single feature I mean every feature, was just unusable. So you have this like completely useless piece of software. HP, they have real buggers for this. Like, if you get a HP server, it's the hardware itself. Yeah, I believe is pretty good, right? It's the software that fucking sucks. Whether it's the BIOS, whether it's the Smart Storage Administrator, whether it's the the ILO stuff, it just all really sucks. Yeah. Now I use HP servers, and to be fair, I've not had the greatest exposure to Dell servers, so perhaps Dell has similar issues, or other ones as well, like what's it, sort of Supermicro or whatever. Or I think Fujitsu still makes servers. I think. I don't know. So so maybe they've got issues as well, and if that's the case, then it is what it is. But HP servers I've had a loads of exposure to. They seem to be used by many, many people, and it's riddled with bugs. It's a nightmare. Anyway, I mean, for example, it's so bad for that, by the way, that I'm still using my Gen 7 server. So I have a HP ProLiant DL360 Gen 7, and the reason I use that I've got some Gen 8s, yeah, and I was tempted to buy a Gen 9 at one point. I think they're actually on Gen 11 now, but I never buy the newest. I don't need to buy the newest. It's basically, I only care mainly for speed. And I usually just get something obviously cheap, secondhand on eBay, whatever. But the reason I don't use my Gen 8s, and I've got several of them, by the way, is because the Gen 7 is quiet. This Gen 7 server is next to me right now, and you definitely cannot hear it because it's near silent. Yeah. Am I using some fancy fan mod? No, it's using the normal fans. Yeah. But it knows, right? At least that piece of software that whoever written in there has some brain. They had some brain intelligence and goes, well, it's not under much load right now. The disks aren't doing much, whatever. So not much load. Doesn't need to push much air through. If for some reason I was to hammer it a bit, the fans spin up, and that makes sense. That's normal. That's just normal. Yeah. And it's not just about noise, because you may go, well, in a like an environment. Obviously, these types of rack mount servers are designed to be in data centers. I mean, this. I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah. HP DL 360 Gen 7. So this is the kind of server I'm rocking right now. Well, I've got disks in mine, so it's more like that, I guess. But Whatever. I haven't got them all in, but that's the server I'm currently rocking right now. Nearly silent. Now the other one that I've got, if I just duplicate this real quick, is a Gen 8. And I've also got a DL380 Gen 8, which I wanted to use with a graphics card, but you know, whatever. So got one of these as well. And it runs like... see, this is another bug with this fucking Kubuntu. I bet it's ramming the fucking CPU right up to the top, innit? No, so why is it lagging so much then? 40... Wait, 40%... 60... So these cores should be all like maxed out, surely. Whatever, I'm just going to leave it and just hope for the best. So anyway, yeah, so, you know, I've got a 380, but obviously whatever software they've written for it isn't that intelligent, because what it'll do is it'll ramp the fans up, like crazy high, and then you can't, why is that flashing red there? Great, so I've got a problem with mine anyway. So I just know, I was looking at it, my own, found out it's got some lights, I'm going to have to find out what's going on with it. But obviously it doesn't have the intelligence to know stuff isn't under that much load or whatever, because I'll put the same types of discs in, there's different caddies, but same types of discs in, yeah, same, well, similar type of RAM I believe, I think it's the same, I think Gen 7's DDR3, I think it was G6's that were DDR2, so, you know, same RAM, same discs. I mean, the processors will be a little faster, but you know, I don't think they actually take any more watts. I think it's just better architecture. But the fan speed will be fucking like really high, yeah, and it's just unnecessary. But they don't care about that. And the thing is, they don't even include a tool so you can manually control it. You can go either based on temperature or you can just manually tune the RPM. There's no tool, or if there is a tool, it's so well hidden, it's beyond belief, because I have searched for a long time. A long time. To be fair, this was before like AI was like becoming popular, so I haven't actually done it, I haven't reopened that little avenue of hassle, but I can certainly give it a go and have a look. But yeah, I remember spending a good long time, several days worth of hours, like, you know, probably like 70, 80 hours trying to make it fucking quiet. Even going down the avenue of like custom, you know, BIOS firmware and stuff, and messing around with the ILO and things like that. Although I couldn't find a specific one for my specific. So this one here, for example, is a DL360P. Mine's a DL360E, and it does matter. You can't just wing it. I didn't want to break it, so. But yeah, it's just one of those things where they've written a piece of software and they couldn't care less, you know. They want to charge the maximum amount they can get away with, yeah, for these things, and then they want to charge for other stuff as well. Like if you want to get all the ILO features, or whatever, you have to you're supposed to buy some key or whatever. That's the kind of thing. It's like it make it just as bad as we can get away with. It almost seems like, you know, and their stuff is really stupid. Like there's some things that don't even need to be a problem. So, for example, there's a little riser board in these. Okay, let's see if I can get a picture of it. So you see this at the back. Hopefully you can see it now. So it's gone bigger, great. There's this little riser board. The idea for that is so you can put PCIe cards in. Yeah. Now, they've made two mistakes with this. One, by the way, mistakes is from my opinion. Yeah, there may be some really good reason. If there is a really good reason, fair dues. Yeah, in my opinion, these are some big mistakes. Number one, you cannot, or at least on the Gen 7 and Gen 8s that I have. Okay, maybe there are some that you can do this on, but the Gen 7 and Gen 8 DL360s that I have, you cannot do this with. Okay, you cannot run the server without that riser board in, even if there's nothing in it. Yeah, which means if there's nothing in it, it's not actually doing anything. Yeah, it's the equivalent of having like an empty PCIe slot, which you can have on a PC and it's fine. It's not a problem. But they've put something in there that has to detect if that riser board's there. And instead of you, even if it brings it up as a problem in the post message and gives you a thing, oh skip, yeah, maybe there's some fault with the actual thing. No, you're not allowed to do that. It will just not. But it will not start. You cannot use it because the riser board's missing. It will not allow you to use it. You can't skip past the error. It'll just go, oh, riser board's missing. Forget it. You know. And it'll do this with other stuff as well. For example, if you unplug a fan, yeah. Now I think it depends. So if a fan fails when it's already running, that's different. But for example, if you actually physically unplug a fan. Now, I haven't done it on one of these in a while, if I'm honest. It might not be the same with this one, but I know definitely on... there's one of these smaller ones, I think it's DL230 or something. That's actually... Well, I'll look in a sec. But yeah, there's like a DL... Yeah, actually, I'll look now. Why not? 230, is it? Was it ML? No, because ML's Minitar, isn't it? I think. Oh, I can't remember what it is now. Is it 210? No, it's not. Yeah. Was it that one? Yeah, it's this one. DL320, that's it. DL320. I got it wrong way around. Can we see on the inside? Is there any inside pictures? Is it that one? That looks too long. That's a full, yeah, that's a full length one. Here we go. That's what I wanted. That's a bigger picture. So here, yeah, this one's a really small one, yeah, and it's got one power supply. You've got 2 drive bays, yeah, 1 processor, so it's a lot smaller, right? Now I don't actually have one of these, but I've worked on these, right? Now, what's really hilarious, these fans here, which cool the processor RAM and everything, very quiet, very normal. Yeah, I mean you can hear them, but they're not too bad. This one here, which they've put all the way at this weird angle, and they've just sort of because it's got space, or whatever. Instead of like having an extra slot, so if you wanted to, you could have dual power supplies or something. Or maybe you could put an extra disc here. Or there's a number of things you could do. Like maybe you want 2 data discs here, and you want an internal SSD or something here. Or they could have had 2. Yeah, they could have had 2 SATA SSDs here, or maybe NVMe even. Or I don't know. There's loads of stuff they could do. Yeah, maybe put an extra network card here. Maybe have another PCIe slot. You know, and they could have had this fan like down here or something if they really wanted it. But no, they didn't do any of that. You know what they did? They put this weird fan at this weird angle, and then this fan runs like max RPM all the time. So it's fucking annoying. And if you unplug it, then it doesn't work. That's HP thinking. That's what HP does. They've got such brain damage, it's beyond belief. Now, again, if there's a really good reason that I'm missing, feel free to let me know. But if you look at it, it doesn't. Even if you just look at it for 5 seconds, you look at it and you go, "Why have they done that?" You know, they've put this here. That makes sense. They've put these drive bays here. That makes sense. They put the board here. Yeah, okay, fair enough. And then they've plonked that there, and they've gone, "Oh well, we'll just pop it there. Just fuck it. You know, just forget it." HP engineers are the fucking worst. And if I make it a more like relevant example, if for some reason somebody watches this and goes, "What the fuck are you talking about?" HP printers, yeah. HP printers are disastrous. You've probably seen them, like, you know, at some point in your life, and they have that HP e-ink bullshit. But there's 3 tiers. It's not just normal, because basically, if you get one of these shitty printers, you can buy normal ink, or you can buy e-ink, or you can have like these e-ink ready things, which are like in between where you can just buy them, but then the e-ink ready, which I don't really means. But if you put instant ink, sorry, if you enroll in this instant ink service, what you're led to believe is that you're purchasing this thing. The idea being is you're printing a certain amount of pages or whatever, and then it's supposedly a service so that they'll just deliver ink to you or whatever, so that you never run out of ink, type of thing. But then the thing is, either the frequency is going to be not enough, in which it doesn't arrive in time, and then it means you have to go buy ink, or it does arrive in time, but now it means you've got more ink than you actually need, which means that eventually, when the next one comes out, you know, you can have it. Let's say you buy some ink and it's 100%, and you use it. You've said you need one per month, say, and then in that month you've used 80% of that cartridge. And let's just assume in this hypothetical scenario that you can use 100% of the cartridge. Yeah, it doesn't like complain or anything, and you can get the full 100% out of each cartridge. Again, this is a hypothetical scenario because these printers are shit and they never allow you to do that. But let's just say but you can do that, and you manage to use like 80% of the ink. So now you've got 20%. Yeah. Now, if you get another ink, yeah, then you can still go and finish that ink that you're already using, and then when you've used it, yeah, you'll get that new one and put it in. But then by the time the next time of that, the month comes around, and let's say you've printed the exact same amount of pages, which is very unlikely. I mean, it depends on the business you've got, but very unlikely, demand changes. But let's be nice, and let's just say in this hypothetical scenario, and by the way, this hypothetical scenario benefits HP. I'm giving them almost the best scenario that makes sense for why this service even exists. Yeah. Then now you've got 40% of your thing, so then you've got to use that, and then 60%, and before you know it, you'll have a full extra cartridge worth, and you'll start accumulating cartridges. Yeah. Does it? I know I've done like a basic scenario, and I've not filled in all the details, but hopefully you followed that as to the how bad the logic is. Okay. So that's if you register. Now your choices are you register because the idea being is you get either cheaper ink or it's supposed to be like more convenient, which I don't think the convenience makes any difference. I think like any other consumable on the planet, like if your battery dies in your phone, you wait till it dies. Like when I said dies, I don't mean loses its charge. I mean like dies, yeah. And then you go to a shop or whatever, and they put a new battery in, or you can do it yourself if you want. It's more hassle to do it yourself nowadays, obviously, but most people just go to shop and have some dude to take it apart, pop a new battery in or whatever. So you can do that, yeah. If your car runs out of fuel, you wait until you need fuel to go get fuel, yeah. You don't go, well, it's Wednesday today, I haven't done any driving all week, but I'm going to the gas station, petrol station, whatever. I've been playing a lot of American stuff recently. Now I say gas station. Anyway, you go to the petrol station, yeah. No, you wait till you need to go, yeah. You get where I'm going with this. So with this, like you buy paper when you need more paper. You don't just buy paper because it's that time of the month. And it's the same with this kind of thing. You're buying a subscription that's of no purpose because you just buy a thing. The thing is, if you go to a shop and you buy the ink and you don't go through their shitty system, you're going to be paying an arm and a leg. I mean, everyone knows this about printer ink. It's not a new story. Everybody knows that printers that suck. Yeah, that's not the thing. HP have designed it so that you basically, even if you've gone into their service, yeah, if you then stop using their service because you've got loads of extra ink. Yeah, even if you've been a loyal customer for a few years, yeah, you can no longer use any of that ink. It will not work. All the ink's in there. It will physically work, but they've written it so that it doesn't work on purpose because they're fucking assholes. And even if you disregard all, even if you're happy with everything there that I've just said, and you're going, oh well, I don't mind using a HP printer, their software still sucks because even if you've paid for it and you're trying to sign into their really shitty software, it is beyond belief how difficult it is to sign in there. Because I had to deal with a customer once, and they actually signed into it. They paid for it, they created an account, paid for it, bought into it, and everything. And trying to get it to work was beyond. I mean, they had to call me. Yeah, the fact that they had to call me because they couldn't figure out how it works, and then I'm there struggling, figuring out how to use this fucking printer. It shouldn't be difficult. Especially if it's USB print. All they want to do is I mean, they were happy to do USB printing or Wi-Fi printing. But if it's network printing, connect it to the network, yeah. Install driver, and you should be able to print. No, that's way too good for HP. You got to fucking sign in, and you got to do all these weird button combinations, and then it complains that something's out of line. Even if it's like it's a brand new printer, and it's complaining like something's not quite lined up or something. So you have to do this calibration thing, which obviously, when it does it, requires that you print like 5 pages. Yeah, obviously they want you to use that fucking ink up as fast as possible. Fuck me. See, this is why I want to do these kind of videos, because my brain's just so dissolved because I'm having to deal with this kind of crap. But yeah, so they do that, and then they do all this shit. Like before, right? Let's have a look at this, for example. Look, they've gone USB, Ethernet, USB, Ethernet. Like, and then the VGA, and then this one will probably be ILO, but I don't know. Wait, that one's ILO. No, look. You can even see it on there. This one here that is the fucking most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my well, not ever seen, but like, can we just zoom in on that? I need to see this. Yeah, they've done it. This is another thing that's just stupid. Okay. So they've right. So on HP servers, right, or other servers, maybe I don't know, but HP servers at least, you've got Ethernet ports, and then quite often you'll have an ILO port. Some servers don't, so some have an Ethernet port that's both an ILO port and Ethernet. If you don't know what this is, ILO it's not for network. It's not for like connecting the machine to the network, like, or at least not in that sense. It's for like managing the thing, managing the hardware, which is especially useful if you want to reboot it or something, or if you want to change BIOS settings, you can do that remotely, which is really cool, and diagnose problems and stuff. It's a really handy tool. But anyway, we'll gloss over that for now. Yeah, so you'd expect normally on a server, yeah, like if you look at this G7 of mine, can we see the back of it? There we go. Right, so here, this makes sense. This is my G7. You have your 4 Ethernet ports here, and then you have your ILO over here. Yeah, nice and separate. Yeah, which is especially useful if you've got this at the back of a cabinet and you're trying to like plug shit in. Yeah, obviously you want to make it simple. So networks all bundled to one, ILO on the other. Imagine if this one was a network one, this one was an ILO one, this one was a network one, and then this one was a network one. Imagine how retarded that would be. Yeah, but obviously on this server it's not. But on here, they've put the ILO here. That's sort of like in the middle of it. If you look at all this IO as like one thing, it's kind of in the middle, yeah. But they've also bundled it so that these two are like close together with USBs next to each other. They kind of look related, yeah. But they're not, because this one's a network one, this one's a network one, and then this one's the ILO one. I just find that baffling, really baffling. It's crazy. It's just crazy. It's really just crazy. I don't know why they don't. See, if it was me, I'd be having the two USBs next to each other, and then the two NICs next to each other, and then maybe the ILO over here or whatever. But no, they just don't care. Now, other things that are hilarious with these servers is, and this is the same with my Gen 7 as well. Now, if you notice that picture that we had before, not that one. No, not that one. This one's kind of good, I guess, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to have a normal picture. Whatever, this picture will do. Oh, it's a shit picture actually. Change my mind. Oh, it's fucking everything's so slow because it's for some reason as soon as I do any like videos or whatever, it's just whatever. So anyway, you see there, you got a card or whatever. Now this side has the like large height slot, and this one's got like a small height slot. Which if you saw in that other picture at the back, or whatever, you can see there's one small thing and one long one. Yeah. Now it's hilarious, and this is pretty much every server as far as I can remember. The large slot is always on the right. Yeah. Now, oh, it's actually no. That's not always on the right. Oh yes, yeah. This one's on the left. See. So yeah, this is like my G7. So that one. What's this one? DL360p. Have they done it different on the P one? I can't even tell. Like the picture's not clear enough, so I can't tell. Okay, well I'll base it on my G7 one because that's the one I've got at the moment. But if you take it like this, yeah, and it's on the So it's on. That'd be on the left on the inside. Yeah. If you take a GPU that's got a fan on it, yeah, it means it's going to be blowing the fan downwards. Like if you think of a GPU, right? It's if you have one upright in your hand, yeah, the fans, like if you've got the plane at the back, the fans are on the left, yeah. If you've got the little bracket sort of facing outwards, yeah, the fans are on the left. So there, if you put that in there, it's facing downwards. Yeah, really, really stupid. Which is you know, in my opinion, it's hilarious because they've even put like little grills here. Yeah, the idea being it can like pull air in or blow air out or whatever, you know, but you can't because it's facing downwards because they just haven't thought about it, you know. I mean, small cards, obviously, some small cards have fans, but if it's a small card, generally it's going to have a much weedier fan, and it's not going to need it as much. Yeah, a bigger card is going to need a decent fan, and it's going to need that airflow. I just don't understand the choices, and you might go, well, servers don't generally need GPUs, and you're right, but there's other cards that sometimes have fans on. I've seen like NVMe cards, yeah, and they've got little fans on, yeah. It still have the same problem because they'd be on the left. Fuck me. Anyway, that's enough whinging about HP, but fucking hell, 30 odd minutes of me whinging. Just gonna have a quick drink. So anyway, let's think of some other software that's pretty bad. McDonald's software is hilariously bad. I mean, right now it's to the point where I cannot order like if I wanted to do a delivery order through their app, I can't because it's bugged, and it's a bug that survived the update. It's like I had the app had an update the other day, updated it, and it's still bugged. So it still believes that I have an order outstanding, which I've already collected and paid for. Money came out of my account, I checked, and I've collected it. I checked both of those, but it still believes that it's there. But the thing is, you can't go collect. Like even I've showed it to them, but they can't do anything about it. Yeah, but it still believes that I have something to collect, which means it won't allow me to create a new order. You can't force cancel. You can't do anything, and the support system to try and contact support is beyond belief. Like it's so bad, it's beyond belief. So I simply can't. So I mean, if for some reason some McDonald's dude's watching this, yeah, I can't order anything. Even if I wanted to, I can't do it because your software simply doesn't allow it. The only time I ever eat McDonald's is when I'm there in person because the app does not work. It's just beyond broken. Sometimes it's broken in your favour though. One time I was able to get like several free cheeseburgers or whatever because it didn't. But when they first started doing the rewards point system, they didn't implement it properly. So you could just basically keep applying the same thing over and over again. So it's like it's just hilarious. It's just so bad. What other software is really bad? I mean, the whole Snap thing, right? On like on Linux, yeah, you can use Debian, but you can use. Well, let me just start again. There's different like package managers you use depending on what type of operating system you have. Now, most people, if you're watching this, you're probably using Windows. That's what most people use. And if you use Windows, you can get an executable or an MSI, which will is an installer package thing. And that's kind of what you expect. If you see an .exe, you're like, oh, it's I can run that, I can execute it. Obviously, if you see something else like a PDF, or whatever, it's not a program. It's like just a document or whatever. Anyway, in Linux you've got different ones for different OSs. So I'm running a Ubuntu-based operating system, which I believe Ubuntu is based on Debian or whatever. So I can use .deb, packages, right? But if I was on a like Red Hat or something, or CentOS or whatever, I'd be using RPM packages. Okay. There's other ones for other ones as well, I believe. I think I can't remember what Arch Linux uses. Well, it uses Pacman to get them, but like Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a Linux guru yet, so I don't know everything about Linux. But I know there's different packages for different stuff. Now, Snap, as what I understand it, is supposed to be like this, making the whole package system a bit more universal across different distributions, which I'm all for. Except it just doesn't work very well, in my opinion. Or at least it's not been implemented very well by the people who use it. Because you'll often find that if you try and get the Snap application, it will behave differently than that same application that's been gotten from another source. Like either you've just downloaded it from their website, or you've downloaded it through apt or Yum or whatever. It will be different. I mean, OBS is a prime example. At one point I had three versions of OBS on this system, all of which were supposedly the same version, except this one works, and the other two had weird quirks. One of them would just use like 100%, 200% CPU usage all the time. It was wild, and it just crippled my system until it eventually crashed. And the other one just wouldn't actually save the file. So you do a recording, and it'd look like it were doing something, but then the file would disappear. It would just wouldn't save it. Like it just wouldn't. It was really bizarre. I mean, it wouldn't throw up any errors either. It just wouldn't. You just couldn't. You didn't get a file out of it. So yeah, really bizarre. Anyway, I just wish software was just made better. For a lot of the time, there's no actual reason why it has to be so bad. Like, it could be good. It's just people are either just too stupid or too lazy to make it good. And by the way, by too lazy or too stupid, I'm not trying to be. That sounds like really harsh. But what I mean is, I don't mind when some corners are cut in software. Like I was looking at a piece of what was I looking at? Let me just find it real quick. I fucking lost it now. Fuck me, forgotten where it's gone now. South Park, no. Forget it. Okay, well, anyway, I can't be asked finding it. So, what was I talking about now, anyway? I'm just hearing myself talk. I sound deranged in the way that I'm fucking talking. Okay, I'm gonna move off of software for a minute, and then I'll move on to. I'll come back to it. I'll circle back to it when I find out whatever I was going to show you. So legal stuff. This is always a topic I find very interesting because the law, or at least the UK law, and the people who both deal with it, like create it, and also the people who enforce it, are all very retarded. And that's not just because I disagree with individual. I mean, there's obviously everyone probably disagrees with, one law or another or whatever. But yeah, the law in the United Kingdom is just so ridiculous. It's beyond belief. The problem is, it's law here. I mean, obviously in some other countries it's done as well, but it's followed to the letter for the most part, but people, but the people who do deal with it don't use common sense. I think there should be a common sense law, which can apply to any other law, and it basically determine, in circumstances. For example, here's a good one. Like speeding, for example. Generally speeding, people agree is bad, yeah. But if there's like an emergency, it's different, yeah. So let's say you're taking your daughter's gonna have is gonna die if she doesn't get to the hospital. So you get her in your car, yeah, and then obviously the time it takes to wait for an ambulance would be ridiculous. So you try and get to the hospital as fast as you can. You may speed in doing so, yeah. And then later on, you get like a ticket come through the post, or whatever, saying, "Oh, we've caught you speeding," or whatever, and you can apply exceptional circumstances and go, "Hey, look, daughter was dying, or whatever. Took her to the EI as proof, or whatever." And then they go, "Oh yeah, it's all good. This time you get let off, or whatever." You know, that would be like a common sense law, which I think's happened before. I'm pretty sure that has happened. Like if you can prove it's exceptional circumstances, you can get away with it. And they go, "Oh well, okay, yeah, this time it makes sense. Just don't do it again." And that's the kind of thing that should be more common, but it isn't. For the most part, it's not very common sense. Laws are just followed blindly, and it's a joke. It really is a joke. And some laws are just created for no fucking reason. The problem is a lot of the people who do the complaining to then draft up like these new laws, for the most part, are people who have nothing better to do. Now, I don't want to be. By the way, when I say that, I'm not necessarily saying I'm not being trying to put myself into the camp of, all these laws are. Some laws are very valid, even if I don't like them. For example, I'm not a big fan of speeding laws, not necessarily because I think everyone should be driving around at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but because of how they're implemented and how it affects my driving as well as other people's driving. There's one time, and I'm not proud of saying this, but it's true, yeah, where I almost run someone over, yeah, because I was fucking half the time staring at my speedometer, and it was dark, yeah, and I didn't notice them crossing the road because I was looking at my speedo, which I wouldn't be doing if I wasn't worried so much about speeding. That's the kind of thing. Now, unfortunately, I didn't, yeah, and they were wearing dark clothing. So before you go, "Oh well, you're just obviously a lunatic." No, obviously there's loads of circumstance around that. Yeah, but I'm just saying. And by the way, when I say almost, I mean like I saw them and they had to like jog a bit or whatever, and I had to slow down and stuff. It was just that kind of thing. I didn't actually like scrape them or anything. It wasn't. I have not run anybody over. I'm using that as an example as to problem around it, but also it's how they enforce it. Like even if you're perfectly happy, let's say you are perfectly happy with how the speeding law, is and everything. The problem is sometimes how they enforce it is bad. So, or the measures they put in, like speed bumps. We're all familiar with speed bumps, yeah. But they're terrible. They really are. Or at least where I live, they are implemented so badly. It's beyond belief. You've got these ones that are fucking they're just like squares. They're like big cubes in the middle of the road, yeah. And you cannot. The zone is 30 miles an hour, but you cannot do 30 over them, yeah. And you can't even do 20 over them. You have to slow that right down to like 10 miles an hour to go over them without smashing your skull on the roof of your car. Yeah. Now I'm pretty tall, so the difference between, it's not far off before I hit my head, if you get what I mean. But like, you get what I mean. Obviously not everyone's that tall, but yeah, it's whack. If I'm honest, to the point where at one point I was like, I'm going to send them a bill for the suspension, because I did actually have to change my rear axle on one of my previous cars, and I'm almost certain it was because of those fucking speed bumps. The thing is, a traffic one of those measures is supposed to, it's kind of akin to like a speed camera. Yeah, if you see a speed camera, you slow right down to whatever the speed limit is. Assuming if you were going over, like if you see a speed camera and you're looking and you're doing 33 or 34 and it's a 30, you're like, oh shit, I better slow it down. Yeah, even though 33 miles an hour, it's not going to do much damage. It's not going to do any damage. I was caught for speeding once, and I had to sit through a speed awareness course, and they just spout off lies. Yeah. One of them, I swear I'm not lying, right? And I really wish I had a recording, but for A, you weren't allowed to, and B, I didn't think to at the time anyway. But I really wish I had a recording of this for proof. One of them claimed, I'm not joking, that if you speed by 1 mile an hour, so going from 30 to 31 is the example that he gave, it says you are twice as likely to kill somebody. He's whipped that out of his ass, yeah. Because how does 1 mile an hour increase the chances by 100% that you're going to kill somebody? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense. The numbers don't add up. Where's his data? Nowhere. That doesn't. I'm sorry, that doesn't compute in my mind. If there is some scientific proof that is true, yeah, then I'm perfectly fine. I will eat my words. Yeah, but I absolutely don't believe that for a second. You know, obviously, if you're doing the difference between 30 and 40, perhaps increases the chance of killing somebody by 100%. Maybe the force, that extra 10 miles an hour, could increase the chances. Yeah. So perhaps that in that circumstance would make sense. But that's not what he said. He said between 30 and 31. He said 1 mile an hour difference, which is bollocks. It just is. I'm sorry. Yeah. Now, some people will go, well, the law is just the law. You know, rules are rules. Everyone has to follow them, and that's true, unless they're absurd. You know, like one rule I found out recently, which is if you work at a software company. Now, I don't work at a software company, but I just read about it because of working at software. You know, obviously, I'm interested in software and stuff. If you work at a software company, right? Supposedly, if you create any software at all in your personal time, yeah, that becomes the property of the company that you're working for, even if it's in your own time. So let's say you have a normal, 9 to 5, 8 hours a day job, yeah, 5 days a week, whatever. So you're working, 40 hours a week, whatever, like the average Joe. Even if you're making stuff on the weekend or in the evenings, or whatever, apparently that somehow belongs to the software company. You can feel free to Google it. Now, I think that's a rule in absurdity. Not even because it's your personal time. I still think it's absurd because of your personal time. But even if you imagine if you have 2 jobs, yeah, and, this happens with many people. Many people have 2 jobs. I personally don't, or at least not right this minute. Although I'm interested, I might think of working another job. We'll see. But yeah, a lot of people have 2 jobs. So what if you work at 2 software jobs, right? Which the reason I find this interesting, A, I thought about this, and B, I then found an example to back up my theory. If you have 2 software jobs and this rule applies to both, then that means 2 separate, completely unrelated companies somehow both own that, whatever work that you've just created, whatever software you've just written. It doesn't make sense. It's absurd, but it's somehow a law. Now, I really hope I've made a mistake somewhere there, because it's thinking of stuff like that my brain hurts, because it means that somebody hasn't thought about it for long enough. Now, a lot of law in the UK comes about because of precedents, right? So some people argue, a couple of people argue, and it comes to a court or whatever, and then they make a decision, and then a law comes about. That's usually how a law comes about. But yeah, that's I just find it ridiculous. The more I think about the world, the more pissed off I get. But yeah, speed bumps. Somehow I ended up on software companies. Speed bumps. The reason I find them absurd is because a speed camera, as I just gave that example, will slow you down to the speed limit. Yeah, assuming, let's just say you were for some reason you were not adhering to the speed limit. You see that speed camera, you slow down to the speed limit, yeah, and then everyone's happy. Now, a speed bump, for the most part, doesn't do that. Some of them do. Like if you've got those little dome ones, you can go over them at 30 or whatever, if it's in a 30 zone or whatever, and you're good to go. Yeah, but these big chunky ones, you can. And it doesn't have a sign up. If it had a sign up saying, 20 here or whatever, or even if it was just an advisory, slow down to 20 for this little bit. Maybe there's, a zebra crossing just round corner or something, or maybe there's a school or something or whatever. Then it'd be chill. But no, they don't. They'll build the speed bump, but they don't put any signs up. So you're thinking, oh well, it's 30. I'll just plod along, and then your car smashed to bits, and your skull's caved in, yeah. And I shit you not, again, this is a true story. One time I was at night and I was going on a road that I wasn't familiar with. I was following Google Maps, okay? And Google Maps doesn't tell you if there's speed bumps, obviously. You know, anybody who's watching this, if you're a driver and you've used Google Maps, you know what I'm on about. It doesn't tell you about no speed bumps. Not That's not me digging at Google Maps. You know, I'm not expecting them to. I'm just saying, it doesn't tell you about speed bumps. So I'm going along, whatever, and I'm adhering to the speed limit. It's told me the speed limit, but also I've seen the sign, whatever. I'm doing the speed limit, you know, driving along, and then there's a speed bump. I don't know where there's nothing on the road that illuminates it or anything. Because this is like a dark country road or whatever, and there's no. But when I say country road, I mean like at the end of it. It's not like in the middle of like some 60-mile-an-hour road or anything. Just to give you a bit of context, but yeah, it's like a 30-mile-an-hour road, and they've plonked a fucking speed bump right there. I shooting up when I went over, I swerved a bit because I had to fucking gather my bearings. If there was a car coming the other way, or like if some reason some person was about to cross the road or whatever, they'd be fucking dead because I'm screwed because I can't. I'm all disoriented because I've just slammed into this what, as far as I'm concerned, like a wall that I've just gone over, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? Have I just hit a deer or something? That's what it feels like. As soon as because if you can't see it, it's pitch black. Yeah. Now, obviously, it's not. I mean, I know you've got your headlights on and everything, but like, still can't. You know, you're not completely staring at every nook and cranny in the road. Yeah. And you're like, what the fuck was that? Because they just don't give a fuck. Just plonk them everywhere in the idea of road safety. Meanwhile, they're fucking killing people. It's just wild. It's absolutely wild. To the point I've seen an ambulance having to go because there's a lot of speed bumps around where I live here, and it has to slow down and then to crawl over this fucking speed bump. There's an ambulance with someone dying in the back, yeah, and it's fucking doing like 10 miles an hour to get over this fucking speed bump because if it zooms over it, yeah, to try and get them there quicker to save their life, guess what? They kill the patient. Yeah, so they have to slow down, and guess what? They don't get there in time, so they kill the patient. It's hilarious. The UK is the fucking worst place to live. You know, I'm trying to avoid all the usual topics because people always talk about like the economy and everything. That's like the usual goes, oh, the economy sucks. It's like, yeah, it does suck because the people in charge. It's not even if they're nasty. I don't care. I'm being completely sincere about this. I don't care if whoever gets into power is greedy. Yeah, if they fucking siphon off a bit of the taxpayers' money, it really sucks. Yeah, I don't care if they take an extra big wage. I don't care, assuming they do a good job. Imagine if they took, you know, a million quid out of taxpayers' money, yeah, for themselves for the year, but they managed to increase the economy and improve it to the point where it's worth like an extra 10 million more or something. I don't know the economy and numbers or whatever. What I'm getting at, what I'm demonstrating with that sentence, is if they did their job adequately and then they took a big reward out of it, I don't care, yeah, because the net gain it means that it's kind of justified, if that makes sense. In an ideal world, they would take the supposed amount that they're supposed to have, and then they would do a good job, and then that's it. We don't live in an ideal world. The problem that I have is they'll take a big chunk and then they won't do fuck all. You know. Now people like Trump, obviously he's in the news every 5 minutes now because of whatever he says or does. A lot of people don't like him. Some people do like him. I don't have an informed enough opinion of him, so I really don't know. I don't want to jump on any bandwagon. I actually want to form an opinion before I claim anything. Say anything good or bad about him. But at the very least, he seems to be doing something. He's doing stuff. And our politicians don't do any stuff. They don't do anything. They just fucking squabble in the House of Commons or whatever. And then there you go. That's that. I knew Labour were going to get in as well because our country is filled with retards. It's just everybody's a fucking retard now. I don't care. By the way, if I'm saying the word retard and that offends you, I enjoy it. That pisses you off because I said the word retard before. I can't remember what I said in what context or whatever. I used the word retard, and then somebody was getting really pissed at me. I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care. Ruh-roh. Somebody's watching. Uh, Yo, the delay on this is fucking wild, isn't it? Why is it showing me the thing from like? How come it's like delayed for me? I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to scroll it along in case it breaks or something. YouTube streaming thing's not very clear cut for me either, in my opinion. All right, so I've talked about software and I've talked about how terrible the government is. What else to talk about? I think just general like sort of just exploitation. I think so. I mean, private companies are like a big thing for this. So like NCP, yeah. Have you seen NCP? They are the fucking worst. The thing is, if you're driving a car, right, actually, I'm just going to talk about car driving in general because I've never felt more like a criminal than when driving a car. You know, I've never murdered anybody. I've never stolen. Well, that's not strictly true. I have stole like pencils from Argos or whatever, and I think I stole some like chewing gum from a shop once. But like, I've never done like any proper stealing. You know, like it's been really petty minor stuff, and I definitely haven't stolen anything in the last like 5 years or whatever. But so yeah, I don't mean like childish normal stuff. I mean like normal stuff. So I've never stolen, never murdered anybody, never done any like terrible crimes, whatever. But as soon as you start driving, you treated so much like a criminal. It's beyond belief. You know, I've been pulled over for a headlight thing, because I had one of my headlights out or whatever, and it went out as I was driving. Yeah, so it's like, what am I supposed to do? You know, it's beyond belief. But anyway, you get pulled over for that. It's really annoying. Unfortunately, I got let go. Being pulled over for tax, whatever, because it was like basically one day out, whatever, and I didn't realise. So you get pulled over for that. You know, they're immediately on you for that. I've been pulled over for. One time I got pulled over because they thought I was drunk. Yeah, they have no evidence. I wasn't swerving. I wasn't driving weirdly, right? To be fair, I'd actually only just started my car and driven only about like less than a minute. I'd been driving for less than a minute. Okay, but because there's a little area near where I live, yeah, there's sort of going towards kind of Lockwood area. There's this like little garage on this corner or whatever, and there's a road that's like kind of wiggly. It's kind of hard to explain, where you go left, but then you go right, but then you go left like quite quickly in a short space of time. It's kind of wiggly. So what a lot of people do, right, is especially when I was driving, it was sort of late at night and there's no cars on it, is to just sort of cut across it. Perfectly. When I say cut across it, it's kind of like shaving a bit off the edge of the corner. It's perfectly legal, perfectly fine. Did that. Anyway, he comes behind me. He's like, oh, are you drunk or whatever? I was like, no, I've not been drinking. You know, and then he asked me a bunch of questions like, have you got my license? I got all this stuff. Gave him all the stuff that he wanted. You know, and then yeah, he goes. Fortunately, he just let me go. But but that's just what they're. That's just what they're like, fucking police officers. I hate the police so much. Now, some people, I've said this before to somebody, and they came back, well, not all police officers are like that. And that's absolutely true. They probably are good police officers. I wholeheartedly believe that they are some good ones. The problem is the majority, or at least the majority all of the ones I've been exposed to, have been bad. You know, they've all been bad. The ones that I've been exposed to. And it's a nightmare because they're just the absolute worst people. The problem is the people who are attracted to that kind of job, yeah, just have the desire, I believe, just to make everybody's life a misery. And then they turn around. I swear they said a bit ago, like the police, the police force is woefully understaffed or whatever. We've got no money, and it's all bollocks. I mean, they didn't have any money a few years ago. I remember when they had, like they had Vauxhall Astras or whatever, which were like cheap hatchbacks, I believe that they didn't have any money then. But now they got like fucking Tread got it bad because he's brown. What are you on about? But now they got like fucking Volvos and stuff, Yeah, they got these big Volvo SUVs. I shit you not, I saw a Tesla police car the other day. Yeah, fucking Tesla police car. If they can drive around in fucking Teslas and Volvos, I'm here in my like beating up second-hand car that was like a grand or whatever. It's like, just leave me alone, you know. But other stuff that's a lot, and the thing is, what do you need for it to have a legal driving experience? Yeah, you need a car. Yeah, which the second-hand car market sucks. So you know, and if you're buying a new car, to be fair, most new cars suck now. So you need a car. Yeah, you need tax now. Tax, I'll get onto that in a sec. You need an MOT, you need insurance, and obviously you need roads to drive on. Those are the things you need to drive a car. Yeah. MOT, I'm perfectly happy with how the MOT system works. There's a cap on how much a garage can charge you. You can, you know, it's not overly expensive, and it's a good requirement for a car to have. I understand why MOT exists. Anyway, tax is hilarious because tax is supposedly somewhat correlated for the pollution that your car produces. Yeah, your vehicle produces you know, more CO2, you pay more tax. Or at least that's how it's supposed to work. Yeah, but no, because I've had several cars. Okay, but just a quick example. I used to have a Honda Civic, yeah, 1.6 liter, and I've had a Peugeot 206, 1.4 liter. And also, actually looking at like the emissions that you know produce, the CO2 and the nitrous oxides and stuff like that, the Honda Civic produced way more than the Peugeot 206. Now in the tax that was reflected, yeah, because the Peugeot 206 was 30 quid or something a year. The Honda Civic was like 190 quid a year. So vastly different tax. But what's hilarious is the Honda Civic was free to go through a ULEZ zone. I did not have to pay anything to go through a ULEZ when I was in my Honda Civic. But my Peugeot, yeah, I had to pay fucking like, what was it, like 40 quid a day or something to drive in a ULEZ zone. So it's obviously not attached completely to the emissions, because ULEZ you'd expect would be somewhat correlated to the tax system, but no. It was just beyond belief. I just don't understand that. Anyway, so yeah, the whole tax ULEZ thing is just a complete scam. I mean, most people already know that. But the insurance is the biggest problem, I think. The problem is with the insurance, when you pay tax and MOT, you're essentially paying the government. Yeah, I mean, with the MOT you're paying a garage, but the garage probably gives it some of it to the government, I imagine. Maybe not, I don't know. I don't know how that whole MOT finance works, but you pay a certain amount to the garage, that's a guaranteed certain amount. Tax, again, it's a guaranteed certain amount, you pay that to the government. But when you buy insurance, it could be any old fucking number, and it's based on private companies. So what that boils down to is these select private companies essentially have full reign on your illegal ability, whether or not you're allowed to drive. Yeah? It's wild. It's fucking wild. What the... Just shut up. Stop. What are you talking about? Anyway. Right. Earlier on I was talking about software as well, right? You know, it's hilarious. I'm showing YouTube right now, yeah? It says 3 concurrent viewers here, but it says 2 concurrent viewers here. Yeah? That's the kind of shit that I'm on about. That's those kinds of discrepancies that are just so... just unnecessary. Anyway, so yeah, so insurance is just... I mean, I was once quoted £30,000 to insure my, like, Honda Civic that was like 1,000 quid to buy. Eventually I got a normal insurance quote of like 1,500. Well, I said normal, it's still 1,500 quid, which is expensive, but you know, it is what it is. It's just beyond belief. And the thing is, if you can't afford, even if you've got everything else, you've passed your test, you've got a car, your MOT, tax, whatever, you've just got your insurance to go. Yeah. If for some reason you don't have like, you know, the amount, a deposit for a house lying about to drive a vehicle, then guess what? Fuck you. That's what the government says. You know. It just makes me so fucking mad, man. And then as I was going on about the roads and stuff, I mean the roads are all. I mean, no, he didn't. No, he just didn't. Possessing illicit materials. No, he did not. Late last year. No, he didn't. I don't believe you. I've seen him playing. Where is it? That card game, Balatro. He's fine. He's not being arrested. He's fine. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, my fucking mouse not clicking. Oh, there we go. What was I going to say now? Oh, I've forgotten. It's not on the sex offenders list. He's not. He can't put it on the sex offenders. No, he's not. Right, okay. Okay, so yeah, so anyway, the insurance thing is a complete scam. The problem is, right, you're also relying on the fact that when you purchase insurance, their systems work correctly and that they update the, their police database, whatever, to say that your car's insured. Because if they don't, guess what? Your life gets ruined. Can say from personal experience. It's very annoying. So anyway, yeah, just driving in the UK is a nightmare. Now parking. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, parking is another problem. I mean, there's nowhere to fucking park, and anytime you do park, there's always some horrendous rules around it. If you own a car and you're trying to drive from A to B, you're guaranteed to get fined somehow. You're either getting fined because you have to park somewhere, you're getting fined because you're gonna get pulled over for your lights being the wrong way around or something, or whatever. You get fined for looking at an officer funny. You get fined because guess what? You need petrol and the tax that's put on it. Like a litre of petrol costs like 10p or something, but the reason it costs like £1.40 or whatever is because the government. It's literally all tax. The vast majority is just tax. It's actually wild. Like I'm pretty sure petrol is cheaper than water, like to buy. Like if they remove the tax, you could buy petrol cheaper than water. I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. That's just how wild I think it is. I got pulled over and it didn't deserve it. Probably not. Yeah, I think you're probably joking, but like at the same time, I've been pulled over 10 times. And I'm not driving like a lunatic or anything. That's just what happens. You're in Huddersfield. Guess what? You get pulled over. I'm probably going to wrap it up. I've been doing this video for about an hour now, and I've not really said anything of value really. I don't know. I just wanted to take the time to unload some mental baggage, I guess. Just speak my thoughts, I just hate this country. If I'm honest, what I really want to do is just work really hard for the next few years, save up a chunk of money, probably invest it in like stocks, or whatever, the normal thing, and then just try and go to retire in Poland or something, because this country is really fucking bad now. I know everyone whinges about that, but it's true. Like if you can name a redeeming quality, the only real like redeeming quality is that we have like the NHS. Yes, I did vote for reform. How could you tell? Is this the bit where you called me a racist and a bigot? That's the usual. That's the usual line. My younger sister's very you know very very against my voting of reform. She's LGBTQ and all that. Got pulled over for ramming into an old woman at 90 miles an hour. Yeah, I'm sure you did. I doubt whatever car you've got is capable of going 90 miles an hour, to be fair, but sure. I might try and install Proxmox again this weekend, but we'll see. Lastly, I guess the last thing I probably want to get off my chest is just my upcoming plans for my web application. I'm sure it was. So soon I will be developing my my web application, which is basically going to be an RMM. So I've used Ninja RMM, for example, which they claim they're like, oh, we're the #1 RMM or whatever. But there's loads of stuff it doesn't do or does weirdly. And yeah, I think I could do a better job, probably for cheaper as well. So that's going to be my goal. I just want to make some tool that's that's just really cool. I want to basically make something go, oh, that was good though. Because at the moment, like for the longest time, the way I've spent my time is either I've gone to school and I've come home and played games, or I've gone to work and come home and played games or whatever, or like watched South Park or something. Like that's the kind of. Did he really? That's incredible. That's really just fascinating, man. Anyway, yeah. So this project of mine, the idea being is it's going to. I just want to make a cool application. I was actually tempted to make my own operating system for like 5 minutes, and then realised that it'd actually be really ridiculously hard. But then again, I might do. I watched a lot of Terry Davis documentaries or just some of his videos, some of the live streams he did, or just the videos that he published and whatever. And Terry Davis is definitely one of someone I looked up. Well, would have looked up to if he was still around, But yeah, what I want to do, basically, what the end goal is, I'd really like to make some really cool pieces of software, and then have like a business around that, like software that just works, Because the thing is, I complain about all these pieces of shit software that these companies make, but I could be making if I think it's so shit, well then why can't I do a better job type thing. That's the argument that many people would make. And that's what I'm going to try and do. Will my software be the nicest looking thing? No, but bargain hunt moments. I mean, nobody. Bargain Hunt's not got Tim Wonnacott anymore, does it? It's got some. I think it's got some like weird woman or something that does it. I'm not really interested. If it's Tim Wonnacott ones, then yeah, because I actually used to watch that. Bag hunting, yes, and he kicks his leg in or whatever and gives them the golden spoon or whatever. Well, it's like midnight now, so I probably should go to bed, I imagine. I just, yeah. He's 73 now, yeah. All the good people are gone. Tim Wonnacott and Bruce Willis, whatever. I don't know. There's no other good people. That was it. I mean, now I don't know anybody now. Like, I did watch a bit of TV like a few days ago, or whatever, and no, it didn't. Uh, Bill Cosby. Who the fuck's Bill Cosby? Oh, is he that one that got done? Oh, yeah, I know who he is. He's the one who got done for being a pedo or something. The problem is, every 5 minutes, someone gets done for being a pedo. And the thing is, I can't help but feel that some of them's probably like they've been trapped or whatever. And by the way, what I mean by that, let me put some context on that. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos, or at least been recommended like YouTube, because people get recommended all the time, and it's like it'll show like someone messaging someone on Discord or something, pretending to be like a minor, and then it turns out that they're not really. But then they're trying to bait somebody into thinking, and then they respond to him, whatever, and it's like, oh, well, this guy obviously likes minors and stuff. And something just feels a bit off with that whole thing. Am I saying that no YouTubers are like minors? No, that's not what I'm saying. Obviously there's going to be some suspicious people, but I feel like the frequency is just too high. It just feels like there's just too many. Too many. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, there's just no good people anymore. Anyway, that TV show I was watching, it was what's it called now? It's that really tall Richard Osmond or whatever. He used to be on that shitty game show called Pointless or whatever. The reason I call it shit is A, it's really boring and stretched out, and B, the prize is like £5. Because they go, wow, we've got £5 in the thing. Try and find a pointless answer, and then that guy talks about 5 hours, whatever, and then eventually the answer, and it's just the worst. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about that game show because it's the absolute fucking worst game show in the entire world. But Richard Osman's the really tall bloke, whoever, and then he branched off to make his own show, and it's a really, really shit show in my opinion, because basically they get 4 quote-unquote celebrities to come on, and it's just 4 random people that you've never heard of. I'm a Celebrity. I remember when I was a kid, I watched I'm a Celebrity, and I thought it was great. But then you watch I'm a Celebrity now, and it's the worst thing. Now, to be fair, I've not actually watched the whole one recently. But they go out the roof to tipping point of the chase. See, the chase is alright. The chase is a good show. Yeah, it's fast paced. It has interesting questions. It's got an interesting host, and you can actually earn like a decent amount. Like the price can go up to like $100,000 or whatever. The Chase is a game show that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch it still, but like I've watched it a bit, and I know that it makes sense. Watch the video Star Wars Fan the Chase. No, because it's gonna be you whipping your dick out or something probably. Oh, it's just going to be like a Rickroll or something. I don't know if people even still do Rickrolls, but I got Rickrolled the other day, so I'm guessing some people do. Or might be just footage of, you ramming into, Ethan's car or something. I'm not interested in whatever that. Yeah. I've never thought about it, but I could apply to a game show. I could do that. Because a lot of these questions aren't even that hard. Like, some of them, don't get me wrong, some of them are hard. They sprinkle really hard ones in there, like stuff that you're never ever going to know. Like, it'll go, what's your favourite colour? Blue. Oh, well done. What numbers are between... What's the number that's between 7 and 9? 8. Oh, well done, you got it right. And then it'll just go like, how many bones that are less than, a millimetre long are in the Tibetan hamster or something. That's what, and then they'll just come out with some bollocks like that. And you're like, well, who the fuck knows that? I'm not saying that. Because that's what you say, D's nuts. I know what you're going to say. You can't do that kind of thing written, because it's obvious. It's so obvious. So fucking obvious. You have to try better than that. Right. Yeah, game shows. To be fair, they should go back to like cool game. You know, have you seen that video? You've probably seen it recently, but to be fair, I knew about it way before that this thing came out recently. Like Penguins era did a thing on it or whatever. You know, all the basically all the leeches that come out and. Have you noticed? Basically, there'll be a thing that comes out, and then all the YouTubers all pounce on it all at once. Like every 5 minutes, there's always a thing that everyone does, and it basically means that all of YouTube is the exact same every time because it's just everybody's doing the exact same thing. But anyway, aside from that, and it was this Japanese game show, and it's a guy who has to survive on like doing sweepstakes or whatever, right? And it's basically like the Truman Show, kind of. I mean, not really, but you know, because the Truman Show they actually tried to give him like a good life, or whatever, in the movie. Um, but yeah, I remember I mean, it was a terrible game show, but it was very interesting at the same time. You know, so just do something like that. Would be interesting. Just put like what's that? Who's that really fat woman from like The Only Way Is Essex? Called Gemma something or other. Right, fat, disgusting piece of shit. You know, who whinges and complains every 5 minutes that she's gonna die if she doesn't have like 12 cheeseburgers in 5 seconds. You know, you should just get her, yeah, and they just put her in like that same thing. That'd be fucking hilarious. You know. And she's not going to die or anything. She's got like enough, you know, reserves to, you know, last a few, you know, probably a few years. To be fair, before she's under any serious harm, you know. And before people complain, say that, oh, I'm fat shaming or whatever. Just, you know, I mean, I'm a bit fat, you know. Everyone, to be fair, pretty much everyone's a bit fat in the UK. When I say obviously there's some people aren't, but you know. Right. Um, what's that other game show? The Cube was kind of a good one for a bit. I thought the Cube was quite well. Obviously, the host was that Philip Schofield, who obviously everybody hates now because I can't remember. I think he came out to be a pedo or something, didn't he? I can't remember. I wasn't really paying attention. But anyway, the Cube was a really interesting show. You know, they got like balance, some ball in a tube or something. You know. Fuck it. I can't be asked. I'm gonna eat some soup or whatever, and then just I don't know. I pretty much just live off beans and soup now because it's you know I'm sure he did. How's that whole magazine editing thing going? Or do you not do that anymore? Right. Uh, don't know. I've got to use that. I don't need that. Okay, well, I appreciate the viewership and everything, but this again, this video is probably just going to get deleted in a day anyway because it's pointless. Just about an occasional news articles like being arrested. Videos and occasionally. Right. I doubt it. In Wakefield, pretty much everyone's homeless in Wakefield, including the police force, so I doubt it. Huddersfield's pretty bad, but I don't know. I mean, if you've been to Wakefield, I mean, fuck me. Wakefield's really bad. One of the worst places, Leeds, in my opinion. But actually, walking around Leeds is not too bad. But if you're driving to Leeds, it's never put in jail. Just goes to show useless police. I mean, to be fair, if he's been arrested, I know you're joking, by the way, but if I'm going to be pedantic, the police will be responsible for arresting him, but the people to actually put him in jail and in prison or whatever, it would be a court and that, not the police. So I know I'm really sucking the fun out of the joke there, but you know, you talking bollocks. Well, yeah, I know I'm signing. I'm obviously going to be signing. Oh, brilliant. Just so buggy, man. Thank you. Just create a new one. Let's do, just got check mark. Yes, browse. Switch next. Oh, I'll do. Don't need all that space anyway. Let's use Rocky. Yes, install, please. Alright, I don't need that right now. It's the police who let him go because he bribes them with refunds. I thought I was unhinged. Checking. Oh fuck me! That time it's gonna check. What do you mean check? What's it doing? Can't I just do it? 10%. Fuck me! I don't have time for this. Whatever. I'll just let it do its thing. So yeah, I want to I want to make my own way back. I've actually started making it already, but it's just not there yet. I'd love to make some videos demonstrating different stuff that it does when I've got it to that point, but I don't know. God damn, I'm lonely. Joe just went to a 50-year-old monk with throat singer. Sounds about right. Right, is Justice your actual last name? I still find that wild. I don't think it can't be, surely. Justice can't be your last name. For the Justice. Oh, it is. Yes, Justice is a legitimate last name. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Meaning and family tree. Who the fuck is that? TED speaker, guest lecturer. That's definitely not you. I'm certain of that much. I don't even right. Hear me out. I don't understand. If you're at this point of your hair disappearing, why don't you just shave it all off? You know what I mean? Like being fully bald. Like here, he looks way better here being bald than like having this fucking weird piece of shit hair next to it. Like I know that maybe I'm just being harsh because I've actually got like a full head of hair, but I'm being serious. Like if you're at that point in your life where all your hair is disappearing,